Yeah, good morning, everybody. Let's begin the class. Okay, today we are going to see about types of efficiencies. Okay, what is efficiency? We have to see first. So, how the role of efficiency will play a good operating conditions will play a good separating will maintain a separating conditions in a distillation column. How we have to see. So, what is this efficiency first? So, what is efficiency? So what is the role of this efficiency? So for example, if we consider a column, how the separation will take place in the fractionating column. So if you see, this one is a fractionating column or a continuous distillation column. Okay, here some batch still is there. Okay, if you consider this as some batch reactor or batch distillation column, some heat we will apply. Okay, here also one reboiler will be there. Using the reboiler, we will send vapors once again to the distillation column, and we will separate some residual product WXW with a composition WXW. And at the top side, one condenser will be there. Okay, some condenser will be there, and we will recycle back some part of the liquid. So vapors are coming inside from inside the column with a composition Y, and some part of the liquid will be just recycled back. This we called as a reflux. And here it is distillate. Here it is distillate. So whose moles is D moles with a composition XD. But here if you see the batch or simple distillation we will call, or differential we can call. Okay, once the feed has been given, F moles has been given, we will extract distillate a D into XD with XF composition. Here also same, F will be going with XF composition of more volatile component, and some residue will be coming, so W into XW. But what is the difference between this one and batch distillation and continuous distillation? Next one is flash or equilibrium. Flash or equilibrium, three distillation columns we have seen. So these two distillation columns, batch or simple distillation or a flash or equilibrium distillation, we have seen in previous chapter, previous unit. So here one heat exchanger will be there. So F moles will be entering here with a composition XF. Similarly, it has to pass through some pressure reducing valve. So this is valve, pressure reducing valve. After passing through this pressure reducing valve, one column will be there. Inside this column, what will take place? This entire column is counted as one plate, because that's also a equilibrium distillation which can be operated continuously or which can be operated batch wise. 1 second, it is not synchronizing. Okay, flash or equilibrium distillation, in which what we are referring, the F moles are coming outside. Similarly, same one XDD we are also referring, not XDD. Vapors are coming out. Okay, vapors are coming out with Y composition, and liquid is coming out with X composition. This we have, these two types of distillation we have seen in unit 2. So what is the difference between these three types of distillation? First we have to engage, you have to just see what is the difference between them. If you see here, F moles of feed is entering Here also F moles of feed is entering. Here also F moles of feed is entering. Okay, where is the difference? XW moles of XW mole fraction of more volatile component is there. Here also XW moles of more volatile component is there. Here also XW moles of more volatile component is there. Then here also if you see, the vapors are coming out. Here also vapors are coming out, and here also vapors are coming out after condensing through a condenser. One condenser will be there. This condenser will condense this liquid. Okay, here also we can put a condenser. But what is the major difference here and here? If you see here, heat is directly supplying to this distillation column. This column we are directly supplying the heat. Okay, so inside this column only we are directly supplying heat, or otherwise using some jacket, by passing some steam inside this column. Heat is directly supplying to this column itself, at the batch still itself. And here if you see, heat we are not directly supplying to this column. Heat is some other plate, some external reboiler. It is supplying a heat which is vaporizing and sending it back to the column. Here also if you see, heat exchanger. Here heat exchanger is there. This heat exchanger is heating feed up to the bubble point, and after that it is passing through the pressure reducing valve. So therefore in this column we are not supplying any external heat. Okay, whereas in batch distillation we are supplying heat directly to the still itself. Here in these two cases we are not at all supplying the heat in these two cases. And one more distinction is, here there is a reflux is there. Okay, there is no reflux. There is no part of liquid which is sending back to the still or sending back to the column. There is no such a criteria in this batch or simple distillation or a flash or equilibrium distillation. So major distinction is, since this is a continuous operation, so we are sending part of the liquid which is coming out. So reflux is the major distinction between these two distillations. Now if you see the mechanism, so if you see, this is a heat, we are applying heat to this distillation column. So whatever the liquid is there inside this distillation column, we are collecting some part as a vapor, and these vapors are going outside to passing through the condenser, and it will be giving liquid composition. Okay, this composition we cannot control. How much the more volatile component coming in the distillate, we cannot control here. Here also if you see the how much the more volatile component coming here, or the how much the vapor is coming out here, we cannot control because we are not supplying direct heat here also. So if you see here, we can control this XD composition, we can control this D. How? Because this L moles of liquid we are recycling back. So now what is the operation here going on? So here the operation is just we are supplying a heat, and whatever the vapors are coming out, we are taking out that vapors. Okay, we have no control on that vapors. Here also same thing, whatever the liquid is just going inside it, it will be flashed. Some part of the liquid will be flashed and converted to vapor. Whatever the vapors are coming out, we are taking outside. But here it's a completely different. Whatever the vapors are coming from this column is just we are collecting and condensing. After that, some part of this vapors or some part of the vapors converted to a liquid will be just recycled back. So reflux condenser makes a major distinction between all these columns. So these have an advantage of controlling this XD composition, decomposition. Why? Because in the continuous operation, in a petroleum operations or in a pharmaceutical industries, in every industry, the controlling of this distillate is very much important. Because of that advantage, these columns, continuous distillation column or fractionating column, is very popularly used in the pharmaceutical industry. In any type of industry, this continuous distillation column is used. Okay, so here part of the liquid is recycling back. The major distinction falls only in the reflux. Here in these two distillation columns, there is no reflux. Okay, here the mechanism is directly whatever the vapors coming out, we are just taking that vapors as a product. Here also whatever the vapors are coming out, we are taking as a product. Here whatever the vapors are coming out, some part of the vapors are we are taking as a product, and some part is recycled back to this condenser. Then what is the mechanism it is taking place? So here liquid is coming inside, and the reboiler is converting it to vapor. Then the major mechanism here is inside this one is plates will be there. In these plates, what is the role of this plate? This role of this plate is vapors which are coming from the bottom needs to be intimate contact with the liquid which is coming from the top. So this is the major role of this tray or a plate. So now how these plates will be there? We use McCabe-Thiele method or Ponchon's average method or Lewis-Sorel method to estimate number of plates are required. So we are calling that number of plates as a ideal plates or theoretical plates, we can call, or equilibrium plates. Why do we call that ideal plates, theoretical plates and equilibrium plates? Why do we call that one? Anybody can say why we are calling that one as the ideal or theoretical plates? Because in this column the plates are there. In the plates, the major role of this plate is to provide intimacy between this vapor and liquid. So that's the major role here. By providing this intimacy, what is going to happen? So liquid is coming from the top and vapor is going from the bottom, going up from the bottom. So when these two are coming into intimate contact, mass transfer will take place in between this vapor and liquid. So the more volatile component which is there in the liquid will be getting transferred to this transferred to the vapors, and the less volatile component which is present in the vapor is getting transferred to the liquid phase. So this is what going to happen in the distillation column inside with a number of plates. So these plates we estimated number of plates using a McCabe-Thiele method. So how we estimated? XD will be there, some curve, some operating line for the stop section, then feed column, feed section will be there, XF. Okay, depending on the feed conditions, Q is equal to 1 or Q is equal to 0, the feed line will be there. Then from this we have that XW composition. This is bottom section operating line. From this one we have drawn number of plates. So now these plates, whatever the triangles are coming, we are referring to that one as a theoretical plates or ideal plates we are saying, or equilibrium plates we are saying. Why we are calling this as theoretical plates, ideal plates or equilibrium plates? Why do we call that one like this? Because if you see here, the assumption in this theoretical plates is, if you consider this as a ideal plate, here the perforations will be there. In some operating plates, perforations will be there. In some operating plates will be some bubble cap trace will be there like this. So okay, different types of trace will be there, like bubble cap trace or sieve plate trace. In every plates, what is going on? The vapors are coming like this and it is entering through the perforations, and liquid is just remaining on the plate. Whenever these vapors are just going inside this liquid, the mass transfer is taking place. So under the ideal conditions, what we are assuming, this liquid is there, whatever the liquid is there, which is in equilibrium with this vapor we are assuming here. In order to estimate these theoretical plates or ideal plates and equilibrium plates, the assumption applied is the liquid and vapor is in equilibrium. Liquid and vapor is in equilibrium. Then only these plates are called as a ideal plates or a theoretical plates or equilibrium plates. But in actual practice, what will happen? In actual practice, there is no such a criteria. This will meet a equilibrium. This will not meet a equilibrium, because liquids and vapors will not meet a equilibrium. Why? Because in the actual operation, what will happen? We cannot provide advocate time. Okay, the contact time between liquid and vapor will influence largely how the mass transfer is taking place. Whether this liquid and vapors are living in equilibrium or not, it will be decided by contact time between the plates. So we will not supply the advocate time for the contact to reach the equilibrium between these two phases. But whereas to decide this one, to reach what we call to reach them towards the equilibrium, we will provide some additional plates. So plus additional plates we will supply in the real situation. So under ideal conditions, what will take? Ideal conditions, theoretical plates estimated through the graphical procedure, theoretical or ideal or equilibrium, which is estimated through the graphical procedure. Okay, estimated through the graphical procedure. So this will perform, this will be as a ideal plates or equilibrium plates. Whereas in the real conditions, real operating conditions, what will take place, because of there is no criteria of reaching equilibrium. So because we are not supplying a adequate time for to reach an equilibrium, because of these conditions, we will supply some additional plates in the real conditions compared to the ideal plates or some plates or theoretical plates. We will supply some additional plates to the column. So the column will have some efficiency depending on our plate efficiencies. The column will have number of plates. So what is this efficiencies? So to define these efficiencies, to in order to gauge these deviations between the contact time and deviation between the reaching of equilibrium, we will reachment of this equilibrium, we will have number of types of efficiencies. Then what are these efficiencies? What are the types of efficiencies? So first, the role of efficiencies. I hope you understood this one. Okay, anybody can confirm role of efficiency? What is the role of efficiency? Do you understand that one? Yes, please respond.
So for me, your screen is appearing very late, sir.
My screen is appearing very late.
I think poor network for me.
Okay. For everybody, the same problem?
No, sir.
Okay, Ravi, you have same problem?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Net is also okay, signal is also okay, everything. Now the types of efficiency it is showing. Screen
Okay.
one. Yes, Ravi.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think your voice is cutting, Ravi.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so just try to understand. I can't do, the network problem is there. Then okay, so I hope you understood this one. Efficiency. What is efficiency? Under the ideal conditions, the number of plates required is n. If the number of plates required is n under the ideal conditions. Why we are saying that ideal conditions? Because the major role of this plate, so n number of plate, is to provide a intimate contact between the vapors which are rising from the bottom to top and liquid which is coming from the top to bottom. So the major role here is to provide a intimate contact between them. Under the ideal conditions, we are assuming this intimate contact to be ideal, and these two phases, liquid and vapor, will reach equilibrium. Okay, will reach equilibrium. So we are assuming this one, but in the normal conditions, in the real conditions, what will happen, because we are not supplying a sufficient contact time. So whenever in the industrial plants or industrial operations, we want directly the product from the raw materials. Okay, we will not invest much of time because it will result in a loss of production. So because of this, the intimate contact between these phases will not. So to compensate that one, we will provide some additional plates in the real conditions. In the ideal conditions, for example, we take n number of plates, but in the real conditions, what will take? Real conditions, so n plus something, n plus some m plates. Okay, some plates additionally we will add. Why we will add this additional plates? Because every plate efficiency will be different. Ideal plates will have a efficiency of 100%. Okay, it will operate efficiency with a 100% efficiency, but real plates will not have a efficiency of 100%. It will have a less than 100% efficiency every time. Okay, usually the efficiency will be around nearly 60%. Okay, the highest efficiency for the real plate is 60% efficiency. How to calculate that efficiency? Because if you see that one plate, depending on the vapor composition, so depending on the vapor compositions, we will calculate efficiencies. For example, the top plate is n minus 1 and bottom plate is n plus 1. So depending on the vapor flow rate, y minus 1 is yn, then okay, liquid is coming from this one. So liquid is coming from the top to bottom. So it will be n L minus 1 and it will be Ln. Then this will be Yn plus 1. Then this is Yn. Like this, depending on the flow rates, depending on the mole fractions on the particular plate, we will calculate the efficiencies. So we have to just take this point that in the ideal conditions, the plates, we didn't provide sufficient contact time between vapor and liquid so as to reach an equilibrium. So because of this insufficient contact time, the plates will operate at a real conditions with a less efficiency. It will have a less efficiency. So because of this less efficiencies, we will define one efficiency called as a overall efficiencies. Then in types of efficiencies, the first one is overall efficiencies. Then what is this overall efficiency means? So if you see the column, so I already said the efficiency overall is denoted by neta overall. So neta overall, or sometimes in some textbooks will be given as neta O. Okay, neta subscript O. Overall efficiency is nothing but theoretical or ideal or equilibrium plates required for the desired degree of separation divided by actual plates. Actual plates required for the same degree of separation. So first the actual ideal plates we can find out by the graphical procedure. But actual plates, to find out that, first we have to find the efficiencies. The plate efficiencies we have to find. So this one we can write as actual plate. This one is a equilibrium plate or theoretical plates or ideal plates we can call. So n theoretical plates divided by actual plates. So how to calculate the actual plates? So the overall efficiency can be calculated by eta naught is equal to n theoretical divided by n actual. N theoretical divided by n actual. Then to calculate the n actual, we need efficiencies. Efficiency of a single plate we need to calculate. So how to calculate that efficiency of a single plate? So to calculate that efficiency of a single plate, it is given by the Murphree, one author who is called as a Murphree. So the plate efficiency is called as a Murphree plate efficiency. Murphree plate efficiency. So what is this Murphree plate efficiency? So Murphree plate efficiency will assume, so it is the efficiency of a single plate. Because of that, we are calling as a Murphree plate efficiency. This is overall efficiency. For n number of plates, for overall column, we are calculating the efficiency. So eta naught is equal to n number of plates required, theoretically required, then n number of plates actually required. So this ratio is called as a overall efficiency. To calculate a single plate efficiency, we need to have a Murphree plate efficiency. Then what is this Murphree plate efficiency? If you consider this as n plate, so the top section we are considering n minus 1 plate, and the bottom plates we are considering n plus 1 plate. So if this is n plate, for the nth plate you have to calculate the efficiency. For example, for this plate you have to calculate the efficiency of this one. So vapors are coming from the bottom to top. So vapors are coming like that. So y n plus 1, because from this plate only the vapors are coming to this plate. So yn plus 1, and from this plate vapors are leaving. So this is yn. Then from this plate the liquid is coming from the top to bottom. Vapors are rising from the bottom to top, whereas liquid is coming from the top to bottom. So liquid mole fraction is x. So it is coming from this plate. So this is n minus 1. And from this plate, nth plate, the liquid is leaving with a mole fraction as xn. So Murphree plate efficiency is defined in such a way that it will be applicable, it will be defined taking into confidence this vapor compositions, only defined based on the vapor composition, Murphree plate efficiency. Then what is this Murphree plate efficiency? Neta m. So this is neta naught. So neta subscript 0 O, it is called neta naught. It is a overall efficiency. Here, since this is a Murphree plate efficiency, neta m it is defined. So what is this neta m? So difference in the vapor compositions at a particular plate. So difference in vapor composition for which this plate we are applying. So difference between this plate yn minus yn plus 1 divided by then equilibrium. So plate efficiency is nothing but the relationship between the actual conditions and ideal conditions. So this is the actual condition composition yn minus yn plus 1. If that plate is operated at a ideal conditions, what would have the values of vapors? So this is yn star, which denotes the vapor would have reached the equilibrium on this particular plate n minus yn plus 1. This is called Murphy plate efficiency. Murphy plate efficiency is defined with respect to the vapor composition. So vapor composition efficiency is nothing but we usually do in CPP course. Efficiency is what is efficiency? Output by input simply. So output by input. So here the efficiency is defined in terms of plates. So in terms of plates means it is a relationship between actual conditions and ideal conditions. Okay, ideal conditions, under ideal conditions only n number of plates are required, but actual conditions this n number of plates are not at all sufficient. So to increase the reaching of equilibrium or to provide the intimate contact between the phases, vapor and liquid phases, we need to add some m number of plates in the real conditions. So in order to provide this deviation, in order to account this deviation between actual and real, actual and ideal plates, we need to have a efficiency that is called overall efficiency. Neta naught is equal to number of plates calculated theoretically or ideal or equilibrium stages for the desired degree of separation divided by the number of actual plates required for the desired degree of separation. So we have to know the efficiency. So for the individual plate efficiency, we have to calculate using the Murphy plate efficiency. Murphy plate efficiency is defined with vapor phase compositions or vapor phase mole fractions. So this is actual. So yn, this yn minus yn plus 1 is an actual. If the plate is operated at a ideal conditions, so this is a ideal difference we would have encountered. So this is actual one, this is the ideal one. Yn minus, so particular plate, when we are calculating the Murphy plate efficiency for this plate, so we need to have this formula. If for example, one more example I will take that one. So some other plate, for some other plate we are determining this one, Murphy plate efficiency. So irrespective of this one, if you see for n minus 1 we have to calculate the Murphy plate efficiency. How can we calculate? The bottom plate is n and the top plate is n minus 2. So the vapors are coming from the bottom to top. So vapors are coming from bottom to top. So vapor we are denoting vapor mole fraction y. So this plate from nth plate it is coming to the n minus 1 plate yn, and from this n minus 1 plate the vapors are leaving from bottom to top. So this is n minus 1. Then liquid is coming from the top to bottom. So from the top plate mole fraction of liquid is we are denoting with x, and from this n minus 2 plate it is coming. So n minus 2 composition of liquid is touching this n minus 1 plate, and from this plate, so x n minus 1 composition of that liquid is going to the bottom section. Then what is the Murphy plate efficiency? Murphy plate efficiency is nothing but for n minus 1th plate. So for this plate, earlier we have calculated for this plate, nth plate we have calculated, but this n minus 1th plate we have to calculate. Then we can write Murphy plate efficiencies, the outgoing composition yn minus 1 minus the incoming composition to this plate, so which is yn, divided by if this composition is worked under the ideal conditions, so that is yn minus 1 star minus yn. So this is the actual condition and this is a ideal conditions. Murphy plate efficiency is defined with respect to the vapor compositions, not with respect to the liquid compositions. Similar way for any plate, okay, any plate which are present in the column, we can apply the Murphy plate efficiency. This is the individual plate efficiency. Then the third type of efficiency is a local efficiency or a point efficiency. 。 local efficiency or a point efficiency. Then what is this local or point efficiency? So what is this local or point efficiency? So if you say the local or point efficiency means, in the earlier case Murphy plate efficiency, it is defining the efficiency to this entire plate. If this is a nth plate, this is a nth plate, for this entire plate is defining the efficiency. But point or local efficiency we can call. Next efficiency is point or local efficiency. What does this means? Point or local efficiency. If this is nth plane, so this is nth plane, then what happens? Here the concentration will be different, 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 here the concentration. So we can write n number of concentration difference in a single plate also, because real conditions we cannot predict what type of concentration it is coming. We cannot say. If this is the ideal plate, we can say that throughout this plate the composition will be constant. But in the real situation, this cannot be applicable, because in this entire plate, in the entire area of this plate, the composition will vary. Definitely it will vary. So because of this, Murphy has given the plate local point efficiency as single point. If you want to calculate at this point, the same one will be applied. So if you see, this one is nth plate, and this is n plus 1 plate, and this is n minus 1 plate. The vapors are rising from the bottom to top. So yn plus 1 plate, vapors are touching to the yn, and this plate is liberating the vapors with composition yn, and from the top to bottom the liquids are coming. So this is x n minus 1, and from this plate the liquid are going out. So this is xn. So local efficiency is also defined as with a notation neta prime. So this is neta prime. Neta prime is equal to yn local at that particular point. If this is a point 1, so at that particular point yn local minus yn plus 1, this is also local, divided by yn local star minus yn plus 1 local. So if you see the above formula in the Murphy plate efficiency, it is same formula, but only we have to add a point like local efficiencies. Okay, local efficiencies are not that much used in the real industrial plants. Okay, only Murphy plate efficiency and the overall efficiencies will be used. So in order to differentiate that under the ideal conditions, we also have different point efficiencies also. We are writing this formula. N prime is equal to yn local by yn local star minus yn plus 1 local. So what is this yn local? What is this yn plus local? Yn local star, yn plus local. So what is these compositions? So we can say here, if you see, what is yn plus 1? So this is yn plus 1 is equal to mole fraction of vapors, or we can call more volatile component, because x and y we are defining in terms of more volatile. Mole fraction of vapor entering the plate n, or when you say this is local, we can say local mole fraction it is. So that particular local means that particular point, a single point, or a more volatile component present in the vapor entering the plate n. Then what is yn? Yn plus 1. So what is yn plus 1? Yn plus 1 local only. So what is yn then? Yn is nothing but yn local. If you say this is local, so local or a point, single point, mole fraction of vapor or a more volatile component, particularly for the more volatile component leaving. So this is leaving through the symbols only we can understand. So leaving the plate N. Leaving the plate N. Then what is Yn star local? Yn local star. Okay. Local mole fraction or a point mole fraction or a single location mole fraction of vapor, or in particularly for the more volatile component, leaving the plate N under equilibrium conditions. Under equilibrium conditions. So this difference is here. Local means a single point at a single location. So if this is a point 1, this is point 2, this is point 3, this is point 4, this is point 5, like this. At a single point, the composition of the vapors we have to take. So Yn plus 1 is the entering mole fraction, Yn local is leaving mole fraction, and this Yn star local is nothing but leaving mole fraction, but at equilibrium conditions or ideal conditions. So similarly, the above formula, which is Murphy plate efficiency, same we can define the same one. So okay, the scheme is same, but only difference is we are taking in the point efficiency as a local. In that one we are taking as a direct composition. So Yn, what is Yn here? Yn is equal to Yn is equal to, from arrows, okay, outgoing and ingoing arrows we can understand. So Yn is leaving, this arrow is outside arrow. So Yn local is nothing but mole fraction of vapor or more volatile component, leaving the plate N. Leaving the plate N. Whereas in the local, if this is dash local, then local mole fraction, that is. Then Yn plus 1 is mole fraction of vapor or more volatile component entering. This is entering through the directions only we can understand. So entering the plate N. Plate N. Similarly, Yn local, Yn star. Yn star is nothing but mole fraction of vapor or a more volatile component and leaving the plate N under ideal conditions, under equilibrium conditions. Then what is this equilibrium? Equilibrium is nothing but same chemical potentials. The vapors and liquids are having the same chemical potential. There is no tendency to just deviate from each other. Then that is called as equilibrium conditions. If this equilibrium condition has been reached, then we can call this as an ideal plate. So if this Yn star is same as this Yn, or if this Yn star is same as this Yn star, then star, then efficiency is 100% efficiency, that is. So this one, so because of this ideal conditions is different from the actual conditions, we need to have a efficiency of the plate. Okay, is it okay? Or the same problem persists? Pavani?
Sir.
Yes, same problem persists or same, okay. Efficiency.
Sir, for me it's network problem, sir.
Okay, your voice is clear now. Earlier it was not okay.
Yes.
Now it is clear. Okay, do you understand that one? Plate efficiencies?
Sir, I should see the video again. I will see the video.
Okay. And Ravi? Ravi? Vamsadhara?
Understood, sir.
Yeah. Anybody? Anusha something?
Understood, sir.
Yeah. Hampi Sri. Okay, I hope you understood. Then these are regarding the efficiencies. Okay, there are three types of efficiencies. So in the slides itself, I have summarized this one. You can see. Okay, for your understanding, I have given this much explanation, but in the examination point of view, in this slide material is enough. First, we have to define why the efficiencies are required, because there may be a deviation between the flow rates, there may be a deviation between the mole fractions in the actual conditions and the real conditions. So in order to account this deviation, we need to have efficiency first. So efficiencies are of three types. One is overall efficiency. Overall efficiency is based on the actual plates and ideal plates. So overall efficiency is given as a ratio of number of plates required under theoretical or ideal or equilibrium conditions divided by number of actual plates into 100. So that is called a overall efficiency. So usually the overall efficiency will have less than 60% only. So when it reaches to 100%, it is called as a true efficiency or ideal efficiency we can call. So no plate will have a 100% efficiency in the actual conditions. So N theoretical is nothing but is the theoretical plates or ideal plates, or we can say it's a equilibrium plate. Okay, theoretical or ideal plates or ideal stages or theoretical states or equilibrium stage or equilibrium plates, everything is the same. Then actual, so number of actual plates required for the desired degree of separation is in the denominator. So this is called overall efficiency. Then the next one is in order to define the single plate efficiency. Okay, this is for n number of plates, all the column plates. Okay, this efficiency is defined. But for the single plate, how can we define the efficiency? If you consider this as a nth plate, okay, the vapors are coming from the bottom to top, and liquid is just coming from the top to bottom. So this we already know that fact. Vapors are rising from top to bottom to top, and liquid is coming from the top to bottom. Because of this, the vapors coming towards this plate, if we want to estimate the efficiency of this nth plate, so we need to define the compositions first. So Murphy plate efficiency is defined with respect to the mole fractions of more volatile component in the vapor phase only. They have not taken with respect to liquid compositions. They have defined with respect to the vapor composition. So vapors which are coming from to the nth plate is from the n plus 1 plate. So yn plus 1. So the vapors leaving from this nth plate is yn. Then using this fact, we have to define this is actual composition yn minus yn plus 1 divided by if the same plate is operated at 100% efficiency or ideal conditions, then this difference will be having. So yn star minus yn plus 1. This is the same plate efficiency, or we can call point efficiency or a local efficiency. If this is a plate, a single plate, in this single plate itself, there are many points will be there. There are many deviations will be there, because this entire plate cannot be operated in a ideal conditions. When this is ideal condition, we can say the compositions are uniform throughout this plate. Since this is not a ideal conditions, so in a real condition, the composition will vary in the entire plate also. So to define that for a single point in the single plate, we have to take the local composition. Same formula with a just notation scheme local. Here neta prime it is neta m. See, this is a Murphy plate efficiency. This is neta, which is a overall efficiency. So these three types of efficiencies are involved in evaluating the distillation column. How well it is performing the distillation column, we need to evaluate in the plant operation this one. If you go into the pharmaceutical industries or in the petroleum industries or in any type of industries, there may be a small or a big distillation column. Okay, as a chemical engineers, you will be asked to calculate the efficiency of a single plate or efficiency of a column. Then how can you calculate the efficiencies? So to calculate the efficiencies, first we need to find what are the compositions, what is the vapor compositions around the single plate, which they are asking to calculate the efficiencies. Then using this compositions only, we can estimate this one. Okay, many times when my friends are working in the industries, they used to ask this one, how to calculate the efficiencies. Okay, you have to remember how to calculate this efficiency. These formulas are important. If some your manager or something in the industry, they are asking to calculate the plate number 2, efficiency of a plate number 2. So then how can you calculate? The plates we have to count from the top to bottom, from the top section to the bottom section. First you have to count. So how many number of plates they will be supplied to that one. Then you have to estimate actual number of plates, theoretical plates. Then they will specify some efficiency to you. That's efficiency you have to multiply with. You have to divide that efficiency. So this efficiency will be just sent to the denominator. Then you can calculate actual number of plates. Or otherwise, when this two data is given, theoretical and actual plates, you can calculate the efficiencies. Otherwise, they are asking to calculate some plate number n or a plate number 2 efficiencies. You have to evaluate first the compositions. What are the mole fractions around that plate? Then you can use this formula. Okay, this is many times our industrial friends, they will ask, my industrial friends, they will ask how to calculate this efficiency. Okay, this is very important because every industry will have a normal distillation to the more complex distillations. Like petroleum industries will have every type of distillation column. Like a batch distillation, they will have continuous distillation, flash distillation, every distillations they will have in the petroleum industries. But in the pharmaceutical industries, because of purity concern, they want a purity. So because of that purity concern, they will operate a batch distillation columns. Okay, many pharmaceuticals industries will also operate this continuous distillation column. There you will encounter many problems in evaluating the efficiency, whether that particular distillation column is operating on a set conditions. For example, the plant when they are newly started, when they are newly erected that plant, the efficiency will be same as the manufacturer supply. But when you operate that plant for sufficient time like 1 year or 2 years, the efficiency of a plate or efficiency of column will obviously get down. So company is more interested to study that efficiency, how that efficiencies needs to be reduced, efficiencies has been reduced, how to improve that efficiency. So when you are asked to improve the efficiencies, so first you have to look the factors which are influencing the plate efficiencies. How the factors are influencing first. So the first factor which is influencing the plate efficiency inside the column is a feed conditions. We studied these feed conditions. Depending on the feed condition, there are 5 types of feed conditions. One is a saturated liquid or a feed at its bubble point. Next one is a saturated vapor or a feed at its what we call dew point. Then a cold feed, then a superheated vapor, then a next one is a partial vapor. So 5 types of feed conditions are there. Depending on these feed conditions also, the plate efficiencies will be varying. Then the physical parameters or physical properties of a particular liquid acting as a feed. So physical properties, what are the physical properties? Density, viscosity, volatility, surface tensions, everything will come under the physical properties. You have to study what is the physical properties, what is its effect on the column operation. Then the next efficiency which is influencing the plates is type and structure of column. So tray type and tray size, hole of this perforation, then weir height. So okay, how the weir height is just changing, how the weir height we can verify, we can modify in order to get a more efficiencies. We have to study this one. So this is more detailed study. You need not to study all these things, but you have to remember this. What are the factors which are influencing the plate efficiencies? Then the next parameter is the operating conditions. So operating conditions like liquid and vapor flow rates, L and V. Then reflux ratio, R is equal to L by D. How that reflux ratio is operating, because during calculation of that ideal plates, we have just given the feed plate location and the reflux ratio, because we already know that rectifying section operating line is Y is equal to R by R plus 1. So R by R plus 1 means R is equal to reflux ratio, L by D. Depending on that R only, the operating line for the rectifying section will be there. Okay, that how that operating line will depend. If that is towards the equilibrium curve, the number of plates will increase. So when number of plates are increasing, I will show you this one. So the operating conditions, if you see this one, factors, okay, factors influencing the plate efficiency. For example, if you see this through the graphical procedure, so in this one, diagonal is there, equilibrium is there. Roughly I'm drawing. So this one is X and Y. The first is the feed conditions. So XF, if feed condition is a saturated liquid, this will be the feed line. If this is a saturated vapor, this is the feed line. And if it is a partial vapor, this is the feed line. If that is a superheated vapor, this is the feed line. If that is a what we call this cold liquid, this is the feed line. So feed lines, so one factor which is influencing is the feed conditions. So if it is a saturated liquid or saturated vapor, depending on the particular feed, that this operating line is going to vary, that feed line is going to vary. And next one is as reflux ratio. So how this reflux ratio is the plate efficiency? We already know the rectifying section operating line is R by R plus 1 into X plus XD by R plus 1. So in this one, R is equal to L by D. So this R will vary this line. So this is XD projected up to the diagonal, and this line is the rectifying section operating line. If this rectifying section operating line is towards this equilibrium curve, then what will happen? The plates will increase. So this many number of plates will come in. If this is a rectifying section operating line, the plates will be like this. Big plates will come, big triangles will come. The number of plates required will be very less. So efficiency, we already know efficiency is equal to ideal plates divided by actual plates. So number of plates increasing means ideal plates increasing means efficiency will also increase because it is directly proportional to it. So because of this, the plate efficiency reflux ratio will have a direct influence. So direct influence on the efficiency is this ideal plate. This ideal plate will have a influence on this. This reflux ratio will have a direct influence on this ideal plate, and this ideal plates will have a direct influence on this efficiency. So efficiency is also dependent on the reflux ratio. Okay, then next one is the reflux ratio. Then composition of a mixture. Okay, what is the composition? The difference between the relative volatility between more volatile component and a less volatile component is more or not, more or less. It is dependent because alpha is equal to yx by divided by 1 plus alpha minus 1 into x. Depending on the type of composition of the mixture also, that particular efficiency is going to influence. Then entrainment. So these are the column operating conditions. This will define how much vapor pressure, how much liquid flow, how much vapor flow has to be retained inside the column. If that vapor flow is low, if that vapor flow is high, then what will happen? Some liquid will just flow down, some vapor will just carry that liquid to the top. So that is called as a entrainment, flow region, foaming, weeping, flooding, etc. So what are these conditions? We will see. So the first condition is, first condition is this one, entrainment. Then foaming. Okay, flow region means liquid and this vapor conditions. So the flow between this vapor and liquid will influence, but the main condition is this one, entrainment. Then what is this entrainment? We have to see. So entrainment. So entrainment, if you see, this is a column. So I am not drawing any reboiler or a condenser here. Just I am referring liquid is flowing from the top to bottom. Okay. So liquid and vapor is going from the bottom to rising from the bottom to top. So this is going to happen. But if you see, one plate will be there, then the next plate will be there, and similarly many number of plates will be there. If the vapor flow is very high, this vapor flow is very high, so here perforations will be there. For example, if you consider this is a perforation plate, so the vapors are rising from this perforation and liquid will be just remaining in this plate. So the mechanism which is happening is this vapor has to rise through this liquid, then the mixing will happen. So this mixing will happen inside this, then the more volatile from the liquid phase will be transferred to the vapor phase, then this vapor phase has to be rising. This is the ideal mechanism which has to be carried out. Under certain conditions of high vapor flow, what will happen? This vapor will carry this entire liquid to this top plane. So the vapor flow rate, if the vapor flow rate is very high, vapor flow rate is very high, then what happens? These vapors, the vapors which are coming from the bottom, it will carry the liquid in the plate, in the nth plate. Then this is n minus 1th plate. Then this vapor will carry this liquid to this top plate. The next plate it will carry immediately because it can lift the due to the high vapor flow rate. This plate can lift the whatever the liquid is there in this plate to the next plate. So that is called as entrainment. So the liquid carried at very high vapor flow rates, the liquid will be carried to the next plate, next top plate is called as entrainment. So we need to neglect this one. We not neglect. We need to suppress this one. We need to suppress this type of operating conditions which is going to carry the liquid. Only the operation which has to take place is just this vapor has to just come in contact with this one, and here the mixing will take place. Then vapors has to leave from here. But here in the entrainment conditions, this entire liquid will be carried away by the vapor and it will be just sent into the top plate. So that is called as a entrainment. So this type of entrainment, what they will do, they will contaminate the distillate product. If the liquid, if this L reflux is coming as a liquid, which will have a XD composition. So XD composition is some 0.98%. Then when this entrainment is happening, this composition, the major role in just refluxing this composition is to increase this 0.98 to some 0.99 or to some 0.1. So the more fraction we have to increase. Because of this only, some reflux we are sending back to this one. When we are sending back this, instead of just increasing this more fraction of more volatile component in the vapor, they will just deviate. They will just decrease this one to 0.97 or 0.96. It will just degrade. So the purity of this top product will be affected by this entrainment. So entrainment is nothing but the vapor, due to the very high flow rates, the vapor will carry the liquid which is present in the one plate to the next top plate. So that condition is called as a entrainment condition. Because of this entrainment, the purity of vapor will be adversely affected. So in order to lower that adversely affected purity of distillate, we need to stop this entrainment. So plate efficiency will be dependent on the entrainment. Then the next one is a weeping or dumping. Or next one we have seen. So next one is a foaming. So this one. So foaming. What is foaming? So then what is foaming? Okay, foaming is nothing but just expansion of that liquid. So if you consider this as a plate, so here liquid will be there, some liquid. When this vapor is just going to enter this perforated plate and going to towards this liquid, so this is vapor and this is liquid, then this vapor will just expand the liquid. Expansion of liquid due to passage of vapor or gas. So due to this passage of this vapor or gas, this liquid will just expand. So if you see, this is the next plate, next immediate plate. This foaming will form bubbles. So these bubbles will have a tendency to rise up to the next plate also. Then the mass transfer in this plate will also be affected, and mass transfer in this plate will also be affected. So because of this, we need to just suppress this excessive foaming. So excessive foaming will just plug this plates. So the foaming will rise to the next plate. Then the foaming will just suppress the mass transfer between vapor and liquid. So okay, this is, we will stop here. Time completed. Third hour I will continue this one. If you have any doubt, just ask me in the third hour. Let me know that one.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.